Talmor, Shishin Marachi. Talmor is my home. My family have worked the land for generations. My gran says the island does not belong to us, but we belong to the island. And we must be ready, for a great evil is coming, and death follows with it.
Listen and subscribe to the latest season of Undertow, The Harrowing, a Storyglass production presented by Realm, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Burntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I uncover the blasphemous truth of a plague-ridden world, that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The Heresies of Radolf Burntwine, coming January 2nd, wherever podcasts are available.
And I went to the casting and I look around pre-COVID and everyone is like high heels, little mini skirts and a top, like a little, like going out top. And I'm sitting in my tennis shoes and my like neon shorts and my turquoise sports bra going, I mean, it must be a different character. So I come in there and the whole scene is like, I completely misunderstood it.
Hello world and welcome back to another episode of Thanks for Coming In. I'm your host, Jillian Clare. If this is your first time tuning in, this is the show where I speak to fellow actors about their journey in the industry, and I make them share some awkward or embarrassing audition stories. If you're not yet subscribed to the show, make sure to hit the subscribe button wherever you're listening to right now. You can also leave us some love in the form of rates, reviews, stars, whatever it is that you see on that screen there. Today on the show, we have Nina Bergman. You may know her from Doom Annihilation, Hell Hath No Fury, The Car Road to Revenge. She has a brand new movie called Cold Meat. She's a very impressive woman, and what a fantastic story. I'm very excited to share our conversation, so here's my talk with Nina. And welcome to the show, Nina!
Hi.
Very excited to have you on the show today. It's lovely to meet you.
So nice to meet you too. Yeah, I'm excited to be on.
This has been a really fun adventure for me, recording podcasts and learning about my fellow actors throughout these years. So it's really cool, and I'm excited to have you. I have a very specific film that I cannot wait to talk to you about. but but before I get to that, the first thing I love to ask my guests is, what made you want to be an actor?
Well, I never made the choice. It's just I just always knew. I always knew I was going to be a performer. Um, I just always knew it since I was 4 years old. Like that magical. My grandmother was a performer. She was a singer. My grandfather played in Ivan the Terrible and worked with Chekhov and some of the greatest, Russian talents. And I just got exposed to it at a very young age. And my dad was a professor at the Danish Film School, so it was just something magical about it, the world you could disappear in and the world where on stage you're loved. It was just I just always knew I don't know, I guess for me it chose me. I didn't choose it. I think if I could do anything else, I would for sure be doing that. I don't have any other talents.
I fully understand that.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like your family was very much so entrenched in the business too. Did your parents want you to pursue acting, or were they more like, "Oh Lord, I don't know if you want to follow my footsteps"?
No, because my parents are not actors. My dad is a professor, so for him,
Right.
education is key. And my mom is a brainer. She's one of those super brains who reads a book every day. So they never wanted me to get into it because my dad wanted me to have a real profession. You know,
Mm.
and And but they never, they were very encouraging with whatever I did. I mean, I created my first TV show when I was 7. That was pretty interesting. 7 years old. I choreographed it. I wrote the whole thing. I did my lookbook. I had like storyboarded it.
Oh my
My dad
gosh.
just was always like, he just let me do whatever I wanted to do. I was one of those kids that would go. We have a walking street in Denmark, and I would just go to performs, like, with my girlfriend. I would choreograph like this, like super cool dance to like CNC Music Factory or something, and my dad would go and support us. Like, I was just always performing, and he was always supporting me.
That's so amazing. I love that so much.
Yeah. So
So,
yeah.
what was your journey? So you're from Denmark. So
Yes.
what was your journey like? Did you go to university before coming to the States? How did you navigate getting into the entertainment industry?
Well, I went to the Royal Danish Ballet when I was like 7, I think 6 or 7, and then I got kicked out because I was too clumsy, and they told me I shouldn't be a ballerina. And then I went to the Danish singing school to try to get in. They told me I was tone deaf. The acting school, I couldn't get in. And then I was like, after they kicked me out at the Royal Danish Ballet, I decided I was going to be a ballerina. And then I got
Mm,
a scholarship to school in England. And then I went to the Bolshoi Theater when I was, 15. And then I became a ballerina, from one of the
wow.
most prestigious schools. And then I came to New York when I was 16, because I was a high school dropout. Never finished my regular school. And I
Mm,
knew enough to know that acting was a craft. So if I really wanted to learn it, I had to go to school to be taken seriously, because I really wanted to be taken seriously. And from the ballet world, I understood how important it was to perfect your craft and go to
yeah.
school and learn. So that
Wow.
was my journey.
That's amazing. So you came to New York at 16
Yes.
and you immediately got into learning the craft of acting.
Yes. Well,
And
I
then what
immediately,
was
I mean, I was flailing around. I didn't know
right.
anyone. My parents weren't supporting me. I,
Mm,
had to make money. I, worked as a dishwasher. I didn't have my papers. I was he- there illegally. I had no money. And then I started doing random gigs. And then I became, an amateur boxer and started making money, as a cocktail waitress and backgammon club, did my fighting, did my modeling, did my things, had to take my GET, my SATs, and then finally got into NYU, So it wasn't a easy journey.
that
Uh,
is so badass.
so yeah, so I just knew I had I don't know how, I just knew in my gut that, for me at least, I needed to go to school because I had a very thick accent, and nobody,
Mm,
you're so young, nobody took me seriously. And
mm-hmm.
I really wanted to do it, and I didn't know what exactly. I just knew I wanted to perform, and I knew
Mm,
that dance was not expressive enough, um to, it was limited when it
mm.
came to expression, so I went to musical theater school, actually. That's how I started.
Wow. Okay. I feel like you need to write your life story into a mini series or something because just that, just like your teenage years all the way up to like NYU, I would watch 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it was, when it's your own life, it's always like whatever, I didn't have a choice, looking back. You know, I mean, I don't recommend it to anyone. And I have 2 little sisters, and I will never let them do what I did. And it
Mm,
wasn't, very safe or easy, but, I mean, at least when I was that age, I was like, I felt like I was an adult, and I had no fear.
yeah.
I wasn't going to go back to
You
Denmark
just
with my,
decided to do it and you did it.
yeah,
And
I was just
here you
excited. I
are
was,
now.
New York
And it's
City
awesome.
by myself, freedom. You know what I mean? It was just
Yeah.
freedom, and I realized very fast that, that's why I fell in love with America, because it's like, if you're good, you'll get a chance. Where in Denmark,
Yeah.
I was really good, and there's just one school, and if you don't get in, then that's that. Where,
Yeah.
here, if you keep at it, eventually, and you're good and you work hard, you would get some sort of shot somewhere. So,
Mm.
yeah. So that was very encouraging for me.
So you go to NYU,
Yes.
you experience this, and then what was like the first, do you remember the first professional acting job that you booked that you were like, oh man, I was right. Haha, look at me go.
No, I never. I mean, I did lots of plays when I was in New York. I never felt like I never felt that with the acting. I felt it with the ballet because I got into the best school in the world, and I was like,
Mm,
oh yeah, yeah. But with acting, I just loved the craft, and it was a very slow. I did a play, then I got like an under five at All My Children
mm,
as a French something, and then they had me back as a German nurse. Then and then meanwhile I was making money. NYU was 30,000 at the time per semester that
yeah,
I had to make. So it was I was constantly burned out completely.
yeah.
Burned out trying to go to school and work and audition at the same time. So I finally just came over here to LA and started working.
Mm,
I couldn't keep it up. I couldn't finish the 4 years. I couldn't do it. I just had to start working. So for me, it was never like that. I did sometimes get fed up with the acting, and I did feel very restricted when I came to Los Angeles. I started booking a lot, but it was a lot of like cheesy TV hosting. One year I booked 24 commercials.
wow.
So I would just say yes to everything, but it wasn't what I really wanted to do. So then
Mm-hmm.
I would write music, and I would go and sing with my band, and I would write all my own music, get it all out on the road, and then I would come back and go another round. Um, and so I did that for a few years until it was like I got my record deal. I lived out my dream as a musician, and then I was like, well, if I really got to commit, I can't do both. I have to like
Yeah,
I can't be gone for 3 to 6 months on the road. So I had
yeah.
to like choose if I really wanted to do it.
Mm.
So that's what happened.
Speaking of singing, this brings me to the movie that I am very excited to talk to you about, which is Repo the Genetic Opera. You don't understand what large effect
Oh
that
my
movie
word.
had on my teenage years. Like, my friends and I were obsessed with that movie. We would consistently just, like, out of nowhere be like, Cidrate comes in a little glass vial. Like, out of nowhere. It just was, like, the movie of my friend group. So I have to know all about filming that.
That is hilarious. Well, I it's so long ago. Like I just came, and Patrick Swayze was cast as the main guy in the movie, and then I can't remember. He was sick or something. He wasn't doing well. He pulled
Mm.
out, and then they needed another name, and then the part that I was supposed to play, I was replaced by Paris Hilton.
Oh my god.
Yes. And all of the singing is actually a lot of the singing is me singing, and they like blended our voice together. I worked with this guy named Yoshiki from X Japan who did all of the music. So it was one of those bittersweet because it was one of those you were talking about. Yes, I booked it, and then they needed a name, and then I was replaced with Paris Hilton, and then I remember they used my singing because she couldn't sing. I have a 3 octave range, and I'm operatically trained. So yeah, it was one of those. It was one of those painful ones. So I'm in it because I'm singing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't in it. I can't remember if I
Oh
ended
my
up
gosh.
playing. Yeah, I think I ended up playing something. Yeah, it was a very painful experience into the industry.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I feel like I just got the inside
You
scoop
totally
on
did.
that movie. I'm so
You
excited.
totally,
But
yeah,
like,
you totally did.
that's horrible. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that's the industry. And then I would remember that's when I went with my band, and I was like, fuck the industry. And then I would just go
Yeah.
and sing my own music and scream, and then I ended up getting my record deal. Because it was just
Wow.
I love the craft of acting, but the industry was kind of rough on me because my skin
Yeah.
wasn't as thick as it is now, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, now I don't care. You know, if I don't get this one, I'll get the next one. I just don't care anymore. Where back then it was like I thought I was gonna die, because when you first start out, you think this is it. This is
Mhm.
it, you know. Like the first big thing was I think with John Malkovich. I booked something with John Malkovich. I was the lead. We shot in Switzerland. We shot all over, and I was like, this is it.
Mhm.
So it's like, what I'm learning in this industry, there is no there, because then there's the next one and the next one and the next one, and you know
Yeah.
you just gotta
Well,
do it
and you
because
just you just never know like what's going to be the one that hits, you know? It can be the most random things in the world that all of
yeah,
a sudden people are like, "Wow, we love this." And,
yeah,
ones that you've cuz that's happened to me where it's like I've done films where I'm like, "This is it. This is going to put me on the map. I know it." And then it comes out and you're like, "That's it? That's it? Nothing? Not,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
people aren't calling me yet? I don't understand." We're going to take a quick commercial break and then we'll be right back.
As a podcast network, our focus is bringing you shows you love to listen to. But we also sell merch related to those shows. And partnering with Shopify has made that both possible and simple for us to do. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor adventures, Shopify helps you sell everywhere because they've got you covered from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. What's so fantastic about Shopify is how, no matter how big you want to grow, they provide everything you need to get control of your business so you can take it to the next level. Businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm. That's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/realm.
You can shop from anywhere doing pretty much anything. You might shop while working, eating, or even listening to this podcast. And however you shop, we all know and love the thrill of the hunt. But do you also know how to get the thrill of the best deals? Because Rakuten shoppers do. With Rakuten, they get the deals they love with the most savings and cash back. And you can get it too. Start getting cash back at your favorite stores like Sephora, Nike, and even Expedia if you're looking to get some travel in. And getting cash back doesn't mean you have to miss out on sales because those can just be stacked right on top. It's easy to use and based on a simple idea. Stores pay Rakuten for sending them shoppers, and Rakuten shares the money with you as cash back through PayPal or check. Download the free Rakuten app and never miss a deal. Or go to Rakuten.com to start getting the most bang for your buck. That's Rakuten.
And back to the show. So let's talk a little bit about Doom Annihilation and what that was like to film, because it seems like such a wild experience.
Yeah, it was fun. I shot, it was Universal Pictures,
Mm-hmm.
so I was in Bulgaria, and I shot another Universal movie not too long before that called The Car. So I was familiar with Bulgaria, knew a lot of the stunt team, over
Mm-hmm.
there. And It was a lot of fun because it was with monsters, and um they have a great team over there with that would help us prep, and we'll do all the previews and rehearse, and I spent so much time in Bulgaria. I started falling in love with it because I just spent 3 months prior to that, and then I came, and it's an ensemble cast, so it's always fun because then you can breathe because it's
Yeah.
you're just a part of the cast. You're not carrying the movie. So yeah, it was fun, and Tony Giglio, the director, he was great. It was a very fun experience. And it's a video game, so I seem to be attracting those those video games.
Hey, video games are great. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the more of that, the better. I think that I don't know, video games to me are like such an interesting medium, and so cool to see how they're using actors now and really
Yeah.
giving, you know, such life to them. It's just so fun to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah. But they're great characters, some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
I
I played
mean,
Call of Duty. She's, Battery in Call of Duty. She
yeah,
is. She's cool. I mean, she's an amazing character. They should make a movie about her.
agreed. I
Yeah.
agree. Well, it's
Yeah.
like The Last of Us. The Last of Us is like
Yes.
I think one of the best TV series to come out in recent years, and the video game is so good.
Yeah.
And then they were able to just build such a fantastic world in the TV series based off of the video game, and
I
yeah,
know.
that's
Yeah.
cool shit. Cool shit.
Yeah.
On the show, I like to ask actors to share audition stories of things that may have gone wrong in the room or funny moments. Do you have any stories like that?
Well, I have, I mean, like the Doom audition, I remember I did a self-tape and they're always like, you can't eat at a self-tape. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, if I'm gonna eat, I'm just gonna eat the whole scene, and I'm just gonna constantly be chowing down and chewing and like talking with my mouth full, just to kind of. I was kind of doing an experiment, and I booked it. So you can do whatever you want at the audition. No, but I had one that was like excruciating. Um, the scene I was auditioning for, it was like you had to wear like shorts and a little sports part, so like a fitness thing, like running shoes or something, like something you work out in. Um, and I went to the casting and I look around pre-COVID, and everyone is like high heels, little mini skirts, and a top, like a little, like going out top. And I'm
Mm.
sitting in my tennis shoes and my like neon shorts and my turquoise sports bra, going, I mean, it must be a different character. So I come in there, and the whole scene is like I completely misunderstood it. We're like in a club. Like it's like, yeah, I'm like in there, I mean, it was like complete disaster, and again, I booked it like every time. I feel like I've booked those parts, I was always like completely wrongly dressed, like same thing. I wore yoga clothes. I was supposed to wear high heels to another thing, and I was wearing flip flops. So I just did the whole audition in bare feet. So it's like I always feel like the auditions I do best at is the ones that kind of throw me, that takes me for a loop, because sometimes I
Yeah.
have a tendency to over prepare, I think,
Mm.
yeah. But yeah, I miss auditioning in person. I like auditioning in person.
Me too.
Yeah,
I'm an
like
in-person audition person.
yeah,
It just feels
yeah,
better. I like having the experience with people. But I also like, mistakes like that, because I feel like then you just automatically stand out in their mind too. Like, hey,
yeah.
remember that girl who like
Oh yeah,
just didn't wear heels even when we told everybody to wear heels? I think we like her. Like,
yeah,
I think it helps create that personal connection. Self
yeah,
tapes feel so, I don't know, rigid and just
yeah,
not connected.
yeah. I miss that. I mean, my favorite is just direct bookings, from New
Yeah.
York. Yeah, so you don't have to audition, but
Yeah.
sometimes I think it's fun. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
let's talk about your new movie that just came out, Cold
yeah.
Meat, with Alan Leach. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, it's it's so much fun because it's like a play. It feels like a
Mm.
play that's inside a movie. That was my first attraction to the project, and no audition. It was direct offer, which is always great. And then it was just such a great character, because she's so different from what I used to play. I normally play
Mm.
the more like the badass, the video games, the sexy, the something, and Anna is just a normal girl,
Mm.
beaten down waitress who has an abusive ex-husband, soon to be ex-husband, and she lives with her mom. She says, she's a single mom with her daughter, and she's just a regular girl who's struggling.
Mm.
So yeah, it was very interesting to live in her shoes.
Yeah.
Yes, but she finds her strength. Anna is not a pusher. She finds her strength. I just want the audience to know. Yeah.
So it's different than the normal roles that you are asked to play.
Yes.
Did you find yourself preparing for the project in a different way as well?
Um, well, I always, you know, try to, I'm all about preparation. Like that's my favorite part of the whole process is the preparation.
Mm.
So, I try to prepare as much. And Ellen Leach's character is based after two real characters, actually,
Oh
that did
wow.
exist, that are real. So I found those two characters and I did all the research I could, and then on the girls, that was part of this whole true story. And then I had to do a lot of digging because I'm where I'm at now in my life. I'm very far from Anna, so I had to
Mm.
kind of go back to who I used to be. I know what
Mm.
it's like to be with someone abusive. I know what it's like to have shitty jobs and be a cocktail waitress. I know what it's like to struggle like that and feel like you don't have a choice in a small town and feeling trapped and all of that stuff. Yeah, so I did a lot of character work because she talks, she sits different, she stands different.
Mm.
Everything is different, and then she transforms throughout the movie, but it's very, very, very subtle. So
Mm.
it was a very yeah, it was a tough one because she's so subtle. I'm a lot more dramatic and a lot more like physical, and she's not. She's very subtle. Yeah,
Sounds
so
like it must have been a very like rewarding experience though, being able to strip yourself and really figure out who this character was.
yeah, I mean, it was rewarding. I'm thinking about I don't know if I felt rewarded. I felt, to go to the places and live where she lived. You know, it wasn't very fun to go there because I worked so hard to get away from who she is.
Mm.
But I think what was awarding was to bring her to life and have a really good co-star. Ellen was a really great co-star, and we had a great director who, uh, uh, like throughout the movie, would let us kind of take the steering wheel. He's had that project for 10 years, so he had a very
Wow.
rigid idea of what he wanted. He saw every shot, he saw every character, and as we started working on it, he was like, whoa, that's, because he had it in his mind for 10 years. And as we started working, he kind of would let us do our thing more and more and more so we could,
Mm.
bring, whatever it was we had prepared and how we saw them. So no, it was a lot of fun. It was like being back in, it felt like we were doing a play, or we were rehearsing a lot. We were doing long scenes, very long takes. So it felt like I felt like I was doing a play again. And that's the fun part. Like you get to play and
Yeah.
try out things and be creative, and instead of hit your mark and say your line, we got to
Yeah.
really go there. And everyone wanted to go there. And the guy who plays my husband really went there too. Yeah, he was very
Wow.
scary.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, I mean, he's a sweetheart in real life, but I was like, whoa. Yeah, yeah,
You're
it
like,
was
damn.
yeah, yeah, no, it was interesting because, yeah, it
Mm.
was it was a very interesting experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the movie's out now, on
Yes.
demand and in select theaters. Um, what's next for you? Do you have anything on the docket?
Yeah, I have a movie coming out. I think it's May 26th with Aaron Eckhart, and another fantastic actor that Jesse V.
Yeah.
Johnson did. I worked with Jesse in Hell Hath No Fury, where I play a
Mhm.
French resistant fighter. So that's like a fun action movie, and I actually play a very different character, very, very different character. I'm not the lead in it, but it's a great part, and so that one is coming out. And then I have two projects for sure that I'm doing this year. Um, um, They haven't announced them yet. I was hoping it would be announced by now, but it's not.
That's okay,
So
because now I'll just tell people that they have to follow you on social media to keep
yeah, they
up,
have to follow
right?
me on social media. All I can say is it had a lot to do with motorcycles. There's lots of motorcycles
Ooh.
because I ride motorcycles and race. So
Oh,
yeah,
very fun.
so it's a fun one. That one is a fun one. Yeah, the next one that I'm working on. Yeah,
Heck
but
yeah. And
social media, yeah, they need to. Yeah,
what is your social media so that people
it's just
can
my
keep up?
name, Nina Bergman, and
Nina
Instagram
Bergman.
is the best way to follow me. I have a website, ninabergman.com, but the best is Instagram. You know, I have Twitter too, Facebook. I don't dance on TikTok, not yet. So I'm not,
Not yet, though.
not yet. No, Instagram is where it's at. Yeah.
Love it. Well, I'm very excited for all the stuff that you have coming out, and it's been such a joy talking to you. So thank you so much for stopping by the show today.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was fun.
Thanks again to Nina. Make sure to check out Cold Meat in theaters and on demand now. Tune in 2 weeks for another brand new episode, and as always, thanks for coming in.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.